The Boston Common, along with the adjacent public garden, comprise approximately 75 acres. It's a place where you can see animals frolic, children play, and tourists stroll. The tourist brochures describe it as the oldest public park in America. The Department of Justice describes it as an open-air drug market. It was August 10th, 2005, in the middle of rush hour. I observed a man in the Common assaulting a woman and decided to physically intervene. The cops told me the man was a drug dealer and the woman was probably his crack whore. By the time they arrived, the woman had run off and I had suffered a permanent injury to my left eye known as a floater, an irritant in your field of vision. Regarding my floater, the doctor offered this advice: make friends with it because it's not going away. Thinking about it later, I realized the drug addicts, the homeless, the dispossessed, all those who I tried to avoid until that day, were like floaters in the eyes of society. And so I thought it was time to go into the Common and make friends with some of them, if only momentarily, to try and see life through their point of view. Why do you wear that? I mean, why did you get that?
Kirk Kerkering, Greenspun, Mayhew, John Roselli, Edward P. Morgan, and Morris B. Moe. I had to stand in front of them when I was 9 years old, lift up my t-shirt and turn around slowly so they could look at the bruises on my body. They said, this is a piece of negotiable merchandise that's all bruised up. Hughes finds out this, we're not going to get $300.8 million toward the War Department.
That's amazing. So tell me more, where are you from?
San Francisco Bay Area.
Yeah, and why are you here in Boston?
I've had a miserable life. I've been hunted down, I've been shot at, I've been stabbed, I've had my throat cut, I've had all my teeth knocked out with a crowbar, tried to be thrown in the trunk of a car. My own stepfather put 10 grand on my head, tried to have me killed to cover up the story.
Tell me, what do you feel like? What are the people, how do you get treated here in the Common area? By the locals, the people who are going to school here?
It's no different wherever you go in the United States. People either evade you or they're friendly with you. They just want to help, and other people don't care. They'd rather treat you like the plague and stand off.
How's the St. Francis House here in Boston?
St. Francis has been nice to me. It has.
What do they supply you with a bed?
Good food and so forth? No. No, they definitely don't. I find my own cribs, an own place to sleep, so to speak.
What would you say about if you were talking to people out there about being homeless and what it's like? What is it like to be here? What's a typical night for you?
Very, very cold. Boston is the coldest weather I think I've ever endured.
Yeah, so at night, what will you do when you leave here tonight? Explain that to me.
Well, when I leave here tonight, it'll be with some cigarette money, food money, basics, you know, that I need. And I'll go find a nice doorway with some cardboard and insulate the flooring of it. Get my blanket out of stash.
What kind of place is it you're going to look for?
Oh, I have a place, doorway, in Charlestown.
You said to me earlier that you had a drinking problem, is that correct?
No, I don't.
Let me ask you, you seem like a very bright man. What's your education? Where did you go to school?
I went to the 11th grade and that was it. My father was a non-denominational numerologist, sociologist. He studied every race, creed, color, language, and religion. He read the Bible in the dictionary from cover to cover several hundred times before he died. Hughes was no fool. He was a very intelligent man.
Your dad is Howard Hughes?
Right. My real father.
Are you happy?
I'm happy with being left alone. I quit pushing the Howard Hughes thing because all it did was bring me trouble and damn near death. I've been threatened not to force a DNA test between me and Susan Hughes of Carson City, Nevada. I've had everything under the sun done to me. I'm tired of it. I wish to God that Hughes wasn't my father, that I didn't have to go through all the hell I've been through. But the only thing I can do to better my own life is to forget about it and just move on the way I am.
People are drawn here because of the reputation. And then there's people who just camp out here. They bring whatever drugs they have and sell them to whoever shows up.
What is it about the Boston Common that attracts people, especially people who have no place to go maybe? They're new in town?
No. The thing is, I got my place to go. The thing is, I just come here because I like to come here. There's a public park, and I think everybody has the right to come in here wherever they feel like. And that's what I do.
Do you ever come here? I mean, there's drugs on the Commons. We all know that, and there's alcohol. What do you guys see?
They come a lot of, sometimes they come a lot of alcohol, but you know, Liz, I don't see the bar or nobody.
No, I don't bring alcohol to the park.
I don't bring no alcohol
I come more to the park to after 6 days, heavy work, you know, hard work. I enjoy the time too, so I meet my friends. So we try to talk, go around, go stretch out, you know, take a stretch out.
Okay, we homeless right now, but we come in here sit out, talking about the situation. What we gonna do? What we gonna do tomorrow? We tired living in this situation. Yeah. One day we talk. One day God got to help us. But really, I'm tired being in this situation. I'm not living like that, but now I got to deal with, you know.
Where do you live?
No, now I'm homeless right now.
You're homeless.
Sometimes I sleep with a friend of mine. Sometimes I sleep. Someplace I can sleep at night time, but most time I'll be sleeping sometimes with my friend, you know.
Okay, I got a question. How come you don't want them to talk about being homeless? What's so bad about that?
Because we usually don't talk about private things.
Okay, that's cool. What about the cops? Do they see you? To be honest, I saw you guys, and I wasn't sure if you were crackheads, junkies, just having fun, alcoholics.
Yeah, no.
What do the cops do when they see you?
Okay.
Nothing. They see. It's the same thing they do when they see you.
Saying you live in Beacon Hill and you were downtown Boston at one of the nightclubs or one of the lounges, and you're having a good time with your friends, and then you walk back through the Commons to go to Beacon Hill, then you're a target. You're an easy target because you're not as alert. You're probably not going to remember who assaulted you. Your mind's going to be a little muddied, and these criminals know that.
I mean, it is safe. I mean, there's some beautiful people that come through the Boston Common, but it's not safe because there's some people that come through here with, I'm afraid that they're terribly addictive habits. And
have you ever been a victim of that?
Yes, I have. I've been mugged, but thank you, God, that, you know, no one's ever really, you know, really hurt me badly. You know what I mean? They just took my money and stuff. That's all right.
Is it worse, do you think, in your opinion, today than it was years ago? Or is it the same?
I'd say it's a little bit worse if I had to answer that question. I'd say it's a little bit worse because of there's different drugs out there. Now they're doing crack cocaine, and those people get crazy.
So you think the crack is really the bigger problem than even the heroin and the coke and years ago in the 60s the marijuana that Commons was famous for?
Definitely. I think the crack cocaine is the heavy problem. The marijuana ain't nothing. The heroin isn't even nothing. We can detox you from heroin and everything, but that crack cocaine, they go. I don't know. They lose their
mind.
Yeah, they lose their mind. They lose their perspective. They just. The only thing that's important to them is the next hit of crack cocaine.
Let your family member at night go through the Common here? Is it that dangerous, or would you prefer that they don't come through here? Say they went to a movie or something locally.
I would prefer any family members of mine. Well, see, I got boys as sons and whatnot, and I mean, I wouldn't care if they came through here because they're tough young boys. But no, I wouldn't let any of my girls come through here.
Really?
No, I wouldn't let none of my girls come through.
What about the police and the city officials? Are they doing anything to make this place better, or they just come out and do a perfunctory sweep and say they've done something?
Well, unfortunately, I believe, my own opinion, you know, this is just my opinion, I believe they're doing nothing. I believe they're not even investigating. I believe they're just trying to hold the lid on, you know, before things happen, but I don't think they're doing very much.
What would you do if you had the power and the money?
If I had the power and the money, I think I'd probably start out at the first grade. At first grade level with the 6-year-olds. And show them what this leads to. What this leads to is that you can take this drug to change the way that you feel, but what happens eventually is that this drug changes you, and it becomes more painful than the loneliness or the hurt that you felt in the first place. And it's really rough to deal with that, but that's what must be done.
Let's face it, our country, we're the largest consumers of illicit drugs in the world, the United States of America. So that's the paradox right there. How are we going to control it? Kids come from all over the country to go to college here, and they want drugs just like they get it from wherever they come from. And one of the places they come is down here on the Common. So it's supply and demand.
At certain times of the day, drug deals were flagrant. And unfortunately, the Boston police were unable to cope with all that was going on. The most dangerous part of this area is going across the Common in the early morning hours. Now, late at night, it's no bed of roses, but in the early morning hours, when the clubs are getting out, the preys, the vultures, the birds of prey are out there waiting for some poor soul to venture by. You know, sometimes I feel the students just say, oh yeah, he's just saying that, it's not that bad. So I brought the Boston police in to give them the big picture. It is that bad, and it goes all through the city.
I've seen a lot of stuff, like right outside our building, at the little building on Boylston Street, I've seen them dealing drugs. It's like, I don't know. It's not, I think people make a bigger deal out of it than it really is. Because, I mean, I think, I don't know, it's like people are gonna do drugs and crackheads are gonna smoke crack, and that's really the way it's gonna be. I don't know if there's any way of preventing it. And the police department, I think, is pretty predictable in this area.
Do you think they do a good job?
I don't know, I mean, not really. I mean, like, as a college student, I mean, we do drugs in here, like, we don't smoke crack, but, I mean, we smoke pot in here. I mean, lots of college students in this area smoke pot all the time.
Yeah.
Over the 30 years that I've been involved in this city, I've seen it happen time and time again. You'll get a guy that's released from Cedar Junction prison. If he doesn't have a family, he doesn't have a job, he doesn't have a place to go, he'll end up down here in this area, in the combat zone, in the Common. They'll get whatever money they have upon release. They'll go to a bar and drink a little bit too much, and they'll fall in with somebody else who they've never met before in their lives, and they'll end up coming down to the common here and committing a murder or an assault. And it happens, again, over and over again. Just because of the location, it's a magnet.
I don't want your name. Where are you from?
From New York City, Bronx, of New York, South Bronx, New York.
And so why are you up here in Boston?
I came to Boston to get married to my fiance.
Yeah.
And I got married and I had a daughter. She's 22 years old now.
Yeah.
And I came looking for work. And I had a drugs addiction also.
How'd you end up in the Commons? What's the deal here?
Well, the Commons area right now for me is because I fell into the drugs. I like getting high because I love sex. And I get high for sex.
Mm-hmm. And so you come here, is this the place you can get your drugs and your sex?
Yes.
How do you do that? Tell me a typical day.
I get $20, I get a girl, we get sex, I go and get high, and I get my sex.
You get a girl, a prostitute?
Yes, or a man.
Or a man. And then what happens for the rest of your day after you've had your...
I keep doing the same thing over and over and over.
How do you afford the drugs?
Well, I exploit myself. I sell myself.
Yeah, how do that doesn't bother you? The drugs put you in such a state that it doesn't bother you?
It does bother me, but at the moment it doesn't, because I'm getting what I want. I'm getting what I need.
Yeah. Would you commit crime to get it, or do you?
No.
So you wouldn't commit a crime to get it?
No.
Tell me about your family.
My family just moved away to, I just came out of jail, first of all, doing 21 months. My family moved to Florida. They usually help me out, but now they cut me off. And I have no one, so I'm doing for myself.
Doing for yourself?
Yes.
We should bring up the fact that I gave you $20 in gas money, did I not?
Yes, you did.
And you asked me for it?
Yes.
Would you have done this interview without it?
No.
You wouldn't, because it's all about the money, right?
Yes, sir.
It's kind of like your lifestyle?
Yes.
Am I putting words in your mouth? But it's all about
no, you're
the
not.
money?
No, you're not.
So you like Boston?
No and yes. I like Boston, yes, because of my daughter's here, and no, because it's not my style. I don't like it here because I have no one here.
Mm-hmm. Give me a typical day for you. Would you come out? I mean, tell me about the needle trucks and the police and
the needles.
Isn't there a truck that gives you needles?
I don't use needles.
So you don't do any of that?
No.
You just do crack?
Yes.
And how do you do crack? I don't know.
I smoke it in the stem. Smoke it.
In a stem.
Yes. And it makes me horny, and I like to have sex.
Yeah. And do you? It takes a lot of paraphernalia to do this kind of stuff?
No, just one stem and Troy, and put the rock on and light it. And
the rock, how much is a rock?
$20.
$20?
You can get it for 15 too.
And how long does that keep you high?
Keeps you high for about 3 minutes.
And how long does it keep you horny?
As long as your mind. I can get sex here, I can get sex, guns, I can get anything I want here.
You can get guns here?
Yes.
And do the police, do they really do a good job at trying to...
Yes, they do. They do a good job.
How do they do a good job? Tell me about it.
Well, the way they do a good job is they keep the drugs out of here, because you have to be very careful of what you do here. And when you see the police, you have to leave, and then the police will come up on you. Mm-hmm. So they're making it safe after the guy that OD'd here.
Tell me about the guy that OD'd. Did you know him?
No, I didn't. I was in jail at the time, and I was reading the papers. But it was wrong of him, because there's a lot of children walking around here, and I have a grandson also. And that's bad for the mothers that have children, and children that sees that. That's bad.
Right.
And I appreciate the police being, you know, like coming down on that and really posting up and trying to keep this park, this Boston Commons clean of that.
Do you go from section to section?
They go from section to section, yeah.
And what forces them out? Police officers?
Police officers.
Crackdown?
Police officers. Crackdowns.
And then you go to another section. That's
but that won't stop them, because when they will still sneak in here and do that.
They'll sneak in the Common.
Still and do the same thing.
Why the Common? Why will they come here?
Because at night it's dark, and the police have a hard time, you know what I mean, seeking and seeing them in the dark. And when they see the lights in the truck, they run. Then when the truck's gone, they come back, because the police can't always be one place at one time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so would you let your daughter, grandchild, come through here at night?
No.
Why?
Hell no.
Why?
cost of drugs and all that. No, because they might get hurt. And plus, they don't do drugs. Plus, my daughter would not appreciate me doing drugs.
So if you had anything to say to the people of the city of Boston, is this place safe at night?
No, it is not for people that are working people, that are businessmen, that are common people. No, it is not safe. No.
And last question, you seem relatively happy. If you had it all to do over again, would you make some changes in your life?
Yes,
I know that
I would.
sounds like a dumb question, but I'm interested. What would you do differently?
It's not a dumb question. I would change the drugs. Now that I see what I see, and I know what I know from experience, I would eliminate the drugs out of my life, because I see now that that's a hindrance to me. It's keeping me from being a successful dad, working man, successful businessman in this society.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Can you change?
Can
Is
I?
it too late? Is it
No,
too
it's
late
not
for
too
you?
late to change, no.
Do you try to?
Yes, I'm trying. You may go into a program as we speak.
Think you'll succeed?
Yes.
Well, I hope you do too. You got a lot of life left. You look pretty healthy, and
Thank you.
You have a daughter. I think you owe it to her, don't you?
Yes, I
I'm
do.
giving you a lecture now. You know?
Yeah.
Get that smile. I don't know.
There's a lot of drug dealing going on. This alley behind me is probably the hottest spot in town for deals. I see 7 or 8 deals a day. And bad deals too, not even like well-mannered, well-maintained ones. They're very obvious. But,
Pretty blatant.
Yeah, very blatant. Then again, you have this recovery house across the street, St. Francis House. People like who are really struggling are really trying to get clean and get help. So it's just like the battlegrounds for the front lines.
Why are you here in the Common?
Well, see, I'm 30 years old, and I've done a lot of time for various, different things, in county jail, less than a year, but, at a time. But, I've done time, and I have a really bad work history because I really never held a job. So now I'm 30, I'm fresh out of jail like a month and a half. Nobody will hire me because I'm a convicted felon and because I'm 30, and I have a bad work history.
So why do you come to the Common?
Because there's a lot of tourists around, and sometimes find really tourists who like to the locals who will entertain like this. So.
Mm-hmm. Like that terrible joke you just told me?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah,
you can go to jail for bad jokes.
Really? I had no idea. All I know is that when I tell jokes, most of the time I really get a good response, because if I get a good crowd, people like it and they enjoy it and they feel like I earned whatever they give.
What about the Common? Is it a good place to come if you're homeless? And
well, yeah, I used to sleep out in the Common, but I don't anymore. So, because I got stabbed out here. So.
You did get stabbed.
Yeah. Do you want to see? I can show you.
No, I believe you. How bad?
About that big, about that wide. You can see my carotid artery. I didn't even know. I didn't even feel it because I was in shock. But somebody told me when I was standing at McDonald's that I got stabbed. And I was
Who stabbed you?
Some kid out here. Some kid out here.
Is this a dangerous place?
It sometimes is. Sometimes is. Mostly though, it's not. At nighttime, it can be. But it's not that bad. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I haven't found it to be that dangerous. I got stabbed just because of a drunk melee, so to speak. Mm-hmm. People drinking, people saying the wrong things. Next thing you know.
Right here. All right, you're worth 10, man.
Thanks, brother.
Come here.
I appreciate it.
Sign this and make you famous.
What up? Hey, check this out, right? I'm gonna tell you a joke that has a moral meaning, okay? And only because is the kids at Emerson gonna see this?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, listen. God is awesome. He's been awesome to me. I may tell some filthy jokes, I may do some filthy things, but God is awesome, okay? And here's the thing, I'm not proselytizing or anything like that. But here's the joke for you. There was this guy, he was talking to God, and he says, God, what's 1,000,000 years to you? God says, about a second. He says, well, in that case, what's $1,000,000 to you? He says, about a penny. He says, well, if it's only a penny to you, God, do you think I could get a penny from you? It being $1,000,000? God says, sure, hold on a second.
Whether it be a homeless veteran sleeping beneath an overpass, a crack addict in search of his next rock, or a homeless immigrant looking for a friendly city, All seem to be searching for some form of human connection, and the Boston Common seems to offer them that. I guess my greatest surprise was the humanity I found in the eyes of these floaters. I realized, given different circumstances, I could have been looking at myself.
The sky is up, the cost is the downside. One woman's comfort is another's junk. Go on, give the virgin her first ride. All in all, we wind up getting drunk. Tell us something to ease the pain. Tell us something she needs to know. Tell us something to help her refrain. A dry spell whets her appetite for score.